Today we'll be talking about how to access the Cybersecurity Program Controls Assessment and what kind of questions are being asked and how you walk through that process. To gain access to the Cybersecurity Program Controls Assessment, or the CPCA, you have to log into the NJKIC member portal. To access the assessment, you'll have to go right to this top navigation. It might be right there as one of the options, or you might have to click More to access the CPCA. If you do not see the CPCA as an option under the top navigation, that just means that we have to assign you access on the back end, and you can do so by reaching out to njccic@cyber.nj.gov. So let's start out with what the Cybersecurity Program Controls Assessment is. It consists of 15 different cybersecurity control categories and 70 different controls that act as a baseline for organizations in managing their cyber risk. It's not intended to be comprehensive, but does present a baseline of cybersecurity controls that are broadly applicable to all organizations that conduct business and provide core resources using information technologies and/or operational technologies. When these controls are implemented, they help to reduce cyber risk and improve an organization's resiliency to different cyber threats. And you can see here the different control categories. And then we'll go down here to completing the assessment. And I'm going to choose different answers to the questions that are asked, just to give you an example of how you might walk through this whole process. So you see here, I'm going to have to click select because this is where this is the organization for which I am doing the Cybersecurity Program Controls Assessment. And then my information is the same as the submitter. What you'll end up doing is putting in your domains and then your IP addresses. This is not required, but it is highly suggested to put in your domains and IP addresses so that we have an idea of what your digital footprint is. There are other resources and services that we can provide through the NJKIC, and having that information will make the information that we provide to you more accurate. We'll start out here. You can see this first category is program management. And I won't walk through each and every one of these questions, but you'll go through and you can see it's very simple. You answer yes or no. And I'll walk through this relatively quickly so you can see. And now you'll see here that when I clicked on policies, this option to upload files came up. This is optional. You do not have to upload this information, but if you'd like to give us an example of what your policies are, that will help us get an idea of what your current security posture is. Next, you'll see here, this is personnel security. And again, just going to answer randomly so we can walk through this. And if you ever need to reference any of these control categories or control areas, we have references to NIST that provides more information about why we would even need to ask that question in a cybersecurity assessment. Again, we'll walk through here. Make sure we answer all of these questions. And you do have to answer all the questions in order to submit the entire CPCA. But you can save and exit if you do not know the answer to a question. So say you're walking through, and you're like, I really need to go and check on something, but it's going to have to be later on today. You can save and exit, and then come back into the member portal and continue answering the questions once you do have that information available. Cyber insurance. I will go down there in just a moment. So I put yes, we do have cyber insurance. This is a requirement. If you do have a cyber insurance policy, we do ask that you provide us with a copy of what that policy is. That helps us understand what your coverage would be for certain instances. And see, I got the notice here that I need to upload a file, so I'm just going to put a random file in there right now. And then we continue to walk through. If you ever want to have a list of the different control categories and the control questions, we can always provide that to you before you gain access to the CPCA, if you do prefer that method, in order to gain information prior to beginning the assessment, because we know that there might be several people you have to ask questions to in order to be able to accurately answer some of these questions. you'll see as I'm walking through this, there is not a lot of effort needed for this. It's pretty quick. Again, this is just a baseline, but it will help you understand, oh, maybe we don't have a good threat intelligence team. That might be something that we want to build up. And so you can bring something like this, an assessment like this, to the people that might need to approve for the procurement of either product or service, or to get additional personnel. And this can just be used as some leverage for you and that support that you need to advocate for the additional resources and services. For that to be finished up here. Any more questions? And then I'll show you what it's going to look like when you're done completing. And you can also see up here in the status bar where we're at. So we just have a couple of more different control categories that we need to get through, and then we'll be all set here. And again, that's another one, the incident response plan, where you can upload a copy of your incident response plan, but that is optional. Again, we do recommend providing as much information as you can to give us a better idea of your security posture, because then we can provide you with more information, suggestions for ways to improve your cybersecurity program. You can see here at the end, when you go to submit, you're certifying that to the best of your knowledge, the information that you're providing is true and accurate. You want to make sure that you can attest to that. You submit the assessment, and then you can see here the percentage of implemented controls for those different control categories. And that's based on the different control areas within those categories that we answered. And you can see here that it gives you a grade, like a percentage, and the overall percentage of this pretend organization is about 67. And so you can see where maybe we're even lower. So this is the lowest one here, vulnerability and patch management at only 50%. Same thing with access management. And so those might be the first places that you look to see, oh, what don't we have implemented yet? How can we bolster those programs of work to make sure that we're lowering our cyber risk, making us more resilient to different cyber threats? This information will be emailed to you once you submit it, in addition to several different links to other resources for more information about services, and also just information about cybersecurity and different cyber threats and how to lower cyber risk. If you ever need to reference your cybersecurity program controls assessment, you can see here you have a unique reference number that you can utilize. If you have any questions, you can contact us back. If you have any questions, please contact the NJCIC at njccic@cyber.nj.gov. Thank you.